Hello fans! Welcome back to GH Spoilers channel. Today, we will learn about the issue that is bound to leave Port Charles stunned, Michael Corinthos devastated, and the future of an innocent newborn child hanging in the balance. What begins as a joyful moment of new life quickly spirals into a high-stakes medical emergency, followed by an earth-shattering paternity revelation that will redefine relationships, destroy trust, and throw an already fractured family dynamic into emotional disarray. At the center of it all is a tiny girl named Daisy, beautiful, fragile, and now fighting for her life. Sasha Gilmore had recently given birth to a baby girl named Daisy, a child the world believed to be fathered by Michael. The delivery, although unexpected in its timing, brought a moment of unity, warmth, and hope. Michael, having embraced the news of Sasha's pregnancy and the belief that he was the biological father, immediately stepped into a protective paternal role. He had proposed marriage to Sasha, wanting to give Daisy a stable family and raise her with love, devotion, and every privilege the Corinthos name could afford. Sasha accepted with gratitude and emotional vulnerability, determined to provide Daisy with a better future than her own childhood had offered. But only days after Daisy's birth, the joy began to unravel. Doctors at General Hospital, while conducting a routine postnatal checkup on Daisy, quickly noticed that something was not right. Blood tests revealed irregularities that pointed to a serious condition, infantile leukemia. The diagnosis hit like a thunderbolt. Portia Robinson, an experienced physician and specialist in pediatric oncology, took over the case. She informed Sasha and Michael that Daisy's leukemia required urgent intervention. A bone marrow transplant would be necessary, and time was not on their side. Daisy's body was deteriorating faster than anticipated, and without a matching donor, her chances of survival were slim. In the immediate aftermath of the diagnosis, emotions ran high. Sasha was inconsolable, clutching Daisy in her arms and begging for answers, while Michael, in a rare moment of clarity and resolve, stepped forward. He volunteered to be tested as a bone marrow donor, hoping his biological connection would offer a match. It was the most logical step. He was her father, at least. He thought he was. Everyone thought so. There had never been a reason to question it. The tests were expedited. Michael's blood was drawn, and within hours, Portia returned with results that would shatter everything. Michael was not a match. In fact, he wasn't even a partial match. Confused and alarmed, he demanded an explanation. Portia, carefully weighing her words, broke the news to him gently but firmly. The blood tests showed that not only was he incompatible as a donor, but his blood type was entirely inconsistent with Daisy's genetic markers. She had triple-checked the samples. There was no mistake. Michael Corinthos was not the biological father of Daisy. The room fell into a heavy silence. Michael's face went blank as he struggled to process what he had just heard. The daughter he had just vowed to protect and raise, the child he had imagined growing up under his watchful eye, was not his. The betrayal hit hard, not just because of the lie itself, but because of what it meant for the baby lying in the neonatal unit, hooked up to machines and in desperate need of help. Michael turned to Sasha, his voice rising, his composure unraveling. He demanded the truth, his words harsh and unforgiving. Who was Daisy's father? Why had she lied? What did she gain from letting him believe he had a child who wasn't his? Sasha, pale and shaken, tried to explain, but her lips trembled, and the words never came. She didn't deny it. She didn't offer excuses. But neither did she reveal the identity of Daisy's real father. She simply stood there, weeping, shielding herself from the full weight of Michael's fury. The confrontation escalated quickly. Michael accused Sasha of being a manipulator, of exploiting his good intentions, of using his name and his love to give herself a false sense of security. He recalled every moment he had stood by her during the pregnancy, every sacrifice he had made to prepare for fatherhood again, and every promise he had given in good faith. All of it, in his eyes, had been built on lies. Yet, as his anger simmered into exhaustion, Michael did something unexpected. He stopped yelling. He stopped asking questions. And he focused on the one thing that truly mattered to Daisy. Whatever betrayal he felt, whatever damage Sasha had done, Michael could not turn his back on the child who now faced a life-threatening illness. It didn't matter that she wasn't his by blood. She was a life worth saving. She was innocent in all of this, and she deserved every chance to fight. He told Portia to begin a search for a compatible bone marrow donor immediately. Whether it came from family registries, hospital databases, or global donor programs, he wanted every resource deployed. He told Sasha, in no uncertain terms, that the time for secrets was over. If she wanted to give Daisy a chance to live, she needed to tell the truth about the biological father. The child's best chance at survival likely rested with him. A biological parent was the most statistically probable match. But Sasha said nothing. She refused. Even faced with the possibility that her silence could cost her daughter her life, she clung to the secret. The frustration and disbelief among hospital staff, family members, and even the medical team grew by the hour. Carly, Sonny, and others in the Corinthos circle were blindsided. Questions spread like wildfire. Who could the father be? Was it someone from Sasha's past? Someone married? Someone powerful? Someone dangerous? Why else would she remain silent, even now? Meanwhile, Willow, still reeling from the earlier revelations and her own turbulent history with Sasha and Michael, watched everything unfold with quiet intensity. She stood by Michael, helped him process the betrayal, and remained focused on Daisy's well-being. Though Michael was no longer biologically linked to the child, the bond had already been formed, and Willow, for her part, saw in Daisy an innocent soul trapped in an adult world of secrets and manipulation. She joined Portia in the effort to locate a suitable donor, scouring databases and making calls to every specialist she had ever worked with during her time at GH. Portia continued to press Sasha gently but urgently. Time was running out. Daisy's counts were dropping. Her immunity was weakening. And without marrow, they would soon be left with only palliative options. The window to act was closing rapidly. Sasha remained isolated in her hospital room, watching her daughter through the glass, her heart breaking silently. Guilt consumed her, but fear held her back. There was something she wasn't telling anyone. Something she believed would destroy not just her but someone else. And for now, she chose silence, even as her world crumbled around her. Michael, although wounded and humiliated, remained publicly composed. He promised to pay for any treatment Daisy needed, promised to fund searches for global donors, and promised to stay involved until a match was found, even if the child wasn't his. In private, though, he broke. The man who had stood so tall, so ready to create a new family, now found himself in pieces, unsure of what was real and what was imagined. As the days stretched on and Daisy's condition worsened, the pressure on Sasha grew unbearable. Portia told her plainly, the child would not survive without a donor, and any delay could seal her fate. Everyone waited. Everyone pleaded. But still, Sasha said nothing. And so, poor Charles waits, breath held, on the edge of yet another tragedy. Will Sasha finally name Daisy's biological father before it's too late? Will Michael's efforts to save a child that isn't his find success? Will Willow, Portia, and the team at General Hospital be able to buy the time Daisy needs? And most of all, how much longer can a secret so vital to a baby's survival stay buried? Next, we will dive deep into the explosive drama surrounding Brooklyn Quartermain and Lulu Spencer, as tensions boil over with the potential for a revenge plot that could shake Port Charles to its core. The fallout from Lulu's reckless actions at the nurses' ball has left lives shattered, relationships on the brink, and a burning desire for justice in Brooklyn's heart. Let's unpack this tangled web of secrets, betrayals, and retribution, with fresh insights and expanded details on how this storyline might unfold in the coming episodes. The nurses' ball catastrophe, a public humiliation. The stage was set for glamour and celebration at the annual nurses' ball, but for Brooklyn Quartermain, it became the backdrop of her worst nightmare. In a moment of sheer audacity, Lulu Spencer chose this highly public event to confront Lois Trullo with bombshell accusations about Giovanni Palmieri's true parentage. Instead of pulling Brooklyn aside for a discreet conversation, Lulu's reckless decision to air such sensitive matters in a crowded ballroom was nothing short of catastrophic. The whispers and curious glances from Port Charles' elite only amplified the humiliation as the truth about Joe Brooklyn's son spilled out for all to hear. It wasn't just a breach of trust, it was a deliberate attempt to upstage Brooklyn during one of the town's most prestigious gatherings. Imagine the sting of having your deepest family secret exposed not in the quiet of a trusted confidence home, but under the glittering chandeliers of the Metro Court, with every socialite and schemer hanging on to every word. Adding salt to the wound, Lulu's smug demeanor during the confrontation suggested she relished the chaos she unleashed. Her assumption that Brooklyn was already aware of Gio's parentage and was complicit in hiding it showed a shocking lack of empathy. What if Brooklyn had been in the dark herself? What if this revelation was as much a shock to her as it was to the onlookers? Lulu didn't pause to consider the possibility, nor did she think about the collateral damage her words would inflict. The nurses' ball, meant to honor the tireless work of medical professionals, became a battleground for personal vendettas, leaving Brooklyn to pick up the pieces of her fractured life in the public eye. Gio's heartbreak, the son betrayed by the truth. At the heart of this scandal lies young Giovanni Palmieri, whose world was turned upside down in the cruelest way imaginable. Overhearing Lulu's heated exchange with Lois, Joe learned the staggering truth about his origins not from a loving parent, but through harsh, accusatory words thrown carelessly into the air. The emotional devastation was palpable as Gio's once solid foundation crumbled beneath him. Now, he grapples with feelings of abandonment and betrayal, questioning whether his parents ever truly wanted him. His pain radiates through every interaction, a young man burdened with resentment toward both Brooklyn and his father, who he believes cast him aside like an unwanted memory. This wasn't how Joe deserved to uncover his past. Picture a tender, private moment where Brooklyn, with tears in her eyes, sits him down in the quiet of their home to explain the difficult choices she made as a young mother. Imagine her reassuring him of her unwavering love, even if circumstances forced her to step back. Instead, Gio's introduction to this life-altering truth came wrapped in scandal and shouting, leaving scars that may never fully heal. Lulu's insensitivity robbed him of the compassionate unveiling he deserved, replacing it with a public spectacle that branded him as a secret to be ashamed of. As viewers, our hearts ache for Joe, whose innocence has been tarnished by a truth revealed in the most brutal manner. Lulu's motives, a quest for moral superiority. Lulu Spencer's actions at the nurses' ball raised serious questions about her true intentions. Was this really about protecting Joe or ensuring the truth came to light, or was it a calculated move to paint herself as the hero in Dante Falcone's eyes? Lulu's history with Brooklyn is fraught with tension, and it's hard to ignore the undercurrent of personal animosity fueling her interference. By exposing this secret in such a dramatic fashion, Lulu positioned herself as the righteous whistleblower, seemingly hoping to win Dante's admiration while casting Brooklyn as the villain. Her smug satisfaction as she dropped the bombshell suggests a deeper agenda rooted in jealousy and a desire to reclaim a moral high ground she's long since lost. Moreover, Lulu's refusal to approach Brooklyn privately reveals a staggering disregard for the emotional fallout. She didn't consider how her actions might shatter Gio's sense of identity or strain family bonds beyond repair. Nor did she ponder the ripple effects on Dante, who now finds himself caught between two women he cares about, each with their own version of the truth. Let's not forget that Lulu's meddling was underpinned by baseless assumptions that Brooklyn and Lois were conspiring to deceive everyone. Without concrete proof, Lulu leapt to conclusions, prioritizing her self-righteous crusade over the well-being of those directly involved. Her mission wasn't about justice, it was about control, and the collateral damage be damned. Brooklyn's fury, a mother's righteous anger. Brooklyn Quartermain is not one to take betrayal lying down, and Lulu's actions have ignited a fire within her that's impossible to extinguish. The pain of watching her son suffer, coupled with the public humiliation she endured, has left Brooklyn seething with a righteous fury. "You don't get to blow up my life and walk away unscathed," she warned Lulu during their intense showdown, and those words carry the weight of a promise. Brooklyn isn't just fighting for herself, she's fighting for Joe, whose trust in his family has been irreparably damaged by Lulu's recklessness. As a mother, her protective instincts are in overdrive, and she's determined to make Lulu answer for the wreckage she's caused. Beyond the emotional toll, Brooklyn is also grappling with the betrayal of trust. Lulu, someone she once considered a friend, chose to weaponize a deeply personal secret rather than handle it with care. This isn't just a disagreement, it's a profound violation of boundaries. Brooklyn's anger is compounded by the realization that Lulu acted not out of concern, but out of spite. Now, as she surveys the ruins of her family's harmony, Brooklyn is left with a burning question: how can she ensure Lulu faces consequences for her destructive meddling? The answer may lie in a carefully crafted plan only that exposes Lulu's own secrets and forces her to confront the hypocrisy of her actions. A revenge plot in motion. Brooklyn's strategic counterattack. Whispers around Port Charles suggest that Brooklyn isn't content to let this wound fester. She's ready to strike back with precision. Sources close to the Quartermain family hint that she may enlist the help of her husband, Harrison Chase, whose position as a detective gives him access to resources that could turn the tables on Lulu. Rumor has it that Brooklyn is pushing Chase to secure security footage from the Metro Court, where Lulu allegedly disguised herself as a maid to break into Martin Gray's hotel room. This wasn't just a harmless prank, it was a calculated invasion of privacy tied to Lulu's relentless pursuit of dirt on Brooklyn. If Chase can obtain this evidence, it could be the key to exposing Lulu's underhanded tactics and holding her legally accountable. Chase, ever the supportive spouse, seems inclined to stand by Brooklyn in this battle. He previously warned Lulu to abandon her so-called adoption articly thinly veiled cover for her vendetta against Brooklyn or face charges for breaking and entering. Though Lulu backed off the story, her true motives were never in question. Now, with Brooklyn's blessing, Chase might consult Olivia Quartermain, who manages the Metro Court, to discreetly access the footage under the guise of aiding an ongoing case. The thought of Chase and Brooklyn working as a united front is thrilling, as it underscores their shared commitment to justice. If this footage comes to light, it could be the smoking gun that proves Lulu's willingness to cross ethical lines, tarnishing her self-proclaimed image of virtue. The bigger picture, accountability in Port Charles. As Brooklyn contemplates her next move, the broader implications of this feud resonate throughout Port Charles. Lulu's actions serve as a stark reminder that no secret is safe in a town where personal grudges often eclipse compassion. Her decision to meddle in matters that didn't concern her has not only hurt Brooklyn and Joe but has also strained her own relationships. Dante, caught in the crossfire, may begin to question Lulu's judgment, while others in the community whisper about her penchant for stirring up trouble. Brooklyn's potential quest for retribution isn't just about settling a score, it's about establishing boundaries and demanding accountability in a world where gossip can destroy lives. For Brooklyn, this fight is deeply personal. It's about protecting her son, reclaiming her dignity, and ensuring that Lulu understands the gravity of her interference. Whether through legal action, public exposure, or a more subtle form of revenge, Brooklyn's determination to make Lulu pay is palpable. As viewers, we're left on the edge of our seats, wondering how far she'll go to restore balance to her shattered world. Will Chase uncover the evidence needed to bust Lulu, or will Lulu find a way to spin the narrative in her favor once again? One thing is certain, this battle is far from over, and the streets of Port Charles are about to become a battlefield for two women driven by passion, pain, and the unyielding desire for justice. Next, we will delve into the storm brewing around Drew Cain, whose web of deceit threatens to unravel in spectacular fashion, leaving his life in ruins. From secret affairs to sinister schemes, Drew has built a house of cards that could collapse at any moment, dragging everyone in Port Charles down with him. Join us as we explore the intricate layers of his lies, the potential fallout, and the cascading effects on those closest to him. Buckle up, because this drama is about to explode with revelations, betrayals, and consequences that will shake the very foundation of Drew's world. Drew Cain's tangled web, a foundation of lies. Drew Cain has always walked a fine line between charm and chaos, but recent events suggest he's veered dangerously into treacherous territory. His carefully constructed facade is cracking under the weight of multiple deceptions, each more damning than the last. Whether it's framing the formidable Tracy Quartermain for his own drug scandal or engaging in a scandalous affair with Nina Reeves, Drew's actions have painted him as a master manipulator with no regard for who gets hurt. But the stakes are even higher when you consider his ruthless interference in Willow Tate Corinthus's life. Paying off a facilitator at Michael Corinthus's burn clinic to ensure Willow believed her husband wanted nothing to do with her. This wasn't just meddling, it was a calculated move to sabotage a marriage for his own selfish gain, leaving emotional wreckage in his wake. Imagine the audacity it takes to orchestrate such a betrayal, knowing Willow traveled across continents to Germany in a desperate search for closure with Michael. Drew's cold-blooded decision to keep them apart speaks volumes about his moral decay. Add to that the whispers around Port Charles that he's been quietly maneuvering behind the scenes to secure his political position as a congressman. And you've got a man who's built his entire existence on a foundation of falsehoods. Each lie is a ticking time bomb, waiting for the right spark to ignite an inferno of consequences. As the walls close in, Drew's once charmed life teeters on the brink of total collapse, and we can't help but wonder how long he can keep juggling these secrets before they come crashing down. The ripple effects, unique consequences for every deception. Not all lies are created equal, and Drew's various schemes are poised to unleash a spectrum of repercussions depending on who uncovers them first. When Willow finally learns the full extent of Drew's machinations show he deliberately kept her from Michael during such a vulnerable time, her reaction will likely be one of pure, unadulterated rage. Picture the heartbreak as she realizes the man she trusted played puppeteer with her emotions, orchestrating a separation that caused her months of anguish. And that's before she discovers the illicit affair between Drew and her own mother, Nina Reeves. That bombshell alone could shatter any semblance of trust or affection she held for Drew, leading to an immediate and irreparable rift. Willow's gentle nature may give way to a firestorm of betrayal, forcing her to reevaluate every relationship in her life. On the political front, Drew's career as a congressman hangs by a thread. If the truth about framing Tracy Quartermain for his drug scandal surfaces, it could strip him of his title faster than you can say scandal. Tracy, with her razor-sharp intellect and vast resources, isn't one to let such a betrayal slide. She could easily rally her allies to ensure Drew faces public disgrace and legal consequences. Similarly, the affair with Nineveh exposed could tarnish his reputation beyond repair, painting him as a hypocrite who preaches family values while secretly undermining them. Every lie Drew has spun carries its own unique weight, and as they pile up, the inevitable fallout promises to be a multi-layered catastrophe that affects not just him, but everyone in his orbit. Willow's awakening, seeing Drew for who he truly is. For Willow Tate Corinthos, the impending revelations about Drew could mark a pivotal turning point. Up until now, she's seen him as a flawed but ultimately caring figure in her life, someone who offered support during turbulent times. But when the veil is lifted and she gazes upon the true extent of his deceit, something inside her might finally snap. Imagine the moment she connects the dots. How Drew's lies about Michael's intentions kept her in a state of despair, how his affair with Nina betrayed her on a deeply personal level. This isn't just about broken trust, it's about realizing she's been a pawn in Drew's selfish games, her emotions toyed with for his benefit. This awakening could transform Willow from a woman who often internalizes her pain into someone who demands answers and accountability. She might confront Drew in a raw, emotional scene at the Quartermain mansion, her voice trembling with a mix of anger and heartbreak as she lays bare the damage he's caused. Or perhaps she'll turn to Michael, seeking solace in the one person who's always been her rock, only to find their bond tested by the lingering shadows of Drew's interference. Whatever path she takes, Willow's journey will be one of reclaiming her agency, refusing to let Drew's lies define her future any longer. For fans, watching her rise from the ashes of this betrayal will be both heartbreaking and empowering. Sasha Corbin's role, the first domino in Drew's downfall. Enter Sasha Corbin, a wild card in this unfolding drama who might just be the catalyst for Drew's undoing. Rumors are swirling that Carly Spencer, ever the protective end, will confide in Sasha about Nina's role in revealing a major secret, namely, that Michael is Sasha's biological father. This bombshell, paired with Sasha's own knowledge of Drew and Nina's clandestine affair, could push her to take drastic action. Sasha has always had a complicated relationship with secrets, often choosing loyalty over truth, but this might be the moment she decides enough is enough. Motivated by a desire to protect Willow, or even exact a subtle form of revenge on Nina for past grievances, Sasha could be the one to spill the beans about Drew's affair, setting off a chain reaction of revelations. Picture Sasha grappling with this decision at Kelly's diner, her hands wrapped around a steaming cup of coffee as she weighs the consequences of unleashing such a devastating truth. She knows that telling Willow about Drew and Nina will shatter her friend's world, but can she live with the guilt of staying silent? If Sasha acts, her words could be the first domino to fall, prompting others to come forward with their own pieces of the puzzle. Her involvement adds a layer of complexity to the storyline, as it blurs the lines between right and wrong, loyalty and betrayal. Will Sasha be hailed as a hero for exposing Drew, or vilified for breaking Willow's heart? Only time will tell. Cody Bell's protective instincts, a fierce ally. Another key player in this brewing storm is Cody Bell, whose fierce loyalty to Sasha, whom he considers family, could propel him into the fray. If Cody catches wind of Nina's role in stirring up trouble or learns of Drew's manipulations, his protective instincts will kick into high gear. Cody isn't one to sit idly by while those he cares about are hurt, and he's got a history of diving headfirst into conflict to right past wrongs. Imagine him confronting Drew at the Metro Court, his voice low and dangerous as he demands answers about the pain inflicted on Sasha and Willow. Cody might not have all the facts, but his determination to shield his cousin could lead him to expose Drew's affair before Sasha even has the chance. Cody's involvement could also unearth deeper resentments in Port Charles. As someone who's often felt like an outsider, he might see Drew as the epitome of privilege and deceit, a man who uses his power to manipulate others without consequence. By taking a stand, Cody could inadvertently inspire others to speak out, amplifying the pressure on Drew. His rough-around-the-edges approach contrasts sharply with Sasha's more measured deliberation, creating a dynamic tension as both grapple with how to handle Drew's betrayals. For fans of underdog stories, Cody's potential role as a fierce ally adds an exciting layer of unpredictability to the saga. Portia and Curtis, additional cracks in Drew's armor. The reverberations of Drew's lies extend beyond Willow and Sasha, reaching into unexpected corners of Port Charles. Portia Robinson, who's been quietly harboring a secret of her own, might find the courage to come forward with damning information. Whispers suggest that Drew has been blackmailing Portia, using sensitive information to keep her in line. If the chaos surrounding Drew's other scandals emboldens her, Portia could reveal this manipulation to the public, dealing another crippling blow to his reputation. Imagine her standing tall at General Hospital, confiding in a trusted colleague before deciding to expose Drew, her resolve hardened by the realization that silence only protects the guilty. Similarly, Curtis Ashford, with his connections at Aurora Media, might see this as the perfect opportunity to strike. Curtis has never been one to shy away from hard-hitting journalism, and if he senses blood in the water, he could use his platform to throw Drew under the bus. Picture him in the Aurora offices, poring over documents and piecing together a scathing expose that lays bare Drew's duplicity for all of Port Charles to see. Curtis's involvement would not only damage Drew's public image but also signal to others that no one is untouchable, no matter how powerful they appear. Together, Portia and Curtis could form an unexpected alliance, their combined revelations adding fuel to the firestorm engulfing Drew. The inevitable explosion, Drew's world in ruins. As these various threads converge, the question isn't if Drew's lies will blow up in his face, but when and how spectacularly. Each secret he's buried is a landmine waiting to detonate, and with so many players poised to expose him, it's only a matter of time before the truth comes roaring to the surface. Willow's heartbreak, Sasha and Cody's protective fury, Portia's potential confession, and Curtis's media muscle all point to a catastrophic reckoning for Drew Cain. He could lose everything: his relationship with Willow, his political career, and any semblance of respect in Port Charles, leaving him isolated and despised. Visualize the climactic moment, a packed courtroom or a dramatic confrontation at a Quartermain family gathering, where Drew's lies are laid bare one by one. The gasps of shock from onlookers, dusty glares from those he's betrayed, and the weight of his own guilt crashing down on him paint a picture of total ruin. Yet, amidst the wreckage, there is a chance for redemption, or at least a hard lesson learned. Drew's downfall could serve as a cautionary tale for others in Port Charles, a reminder that deception always comes at a cost. As viewers, we're glued to our screens, eager to see whether Drew will face the full brunt of his actions or find a way to claw back from the abyss. Thank you for joining us on the ABC General Hospital Spoilers channel. What do you think awaits Drew Cain as his secrets unravel? Will Willow, Sasha, or someone else deliver the final blow? Drop your predictions in the comments below, and be sure to subscribe for more exclusive updates and spoilers on all the drama in Port Charles.